So the preseason's well and truly underway, and we've already got some interesting results to talk about. One of the teams has beaten the champions and then drew to a second division team. Loyola have smashed everyone. The under-23s didn't field a team for one of their games. There's a lot going on. Eco, give us some of the surprises. Give us a rundown of some of the interesting ones out there.
Okay. First surprise was Kaya winning against Stallions 3-1.
Okay.
Then, after that, they drew to Forza last night, 0-0. Aside from that, there was the under-23s who won their first game against Forza. Then, also same, last night, they didn't play. They didn't play per se, meaning that they didn't even field the lineup.
Yeah, we saw that on Twitter, and it was like the under-23s, the UFL came out and said the under-23s have forfeited the match by not fielding players. What happened?
I think it was because of the weather last night.
Okay.
There was torrential rain around the metro. And I think someone also posted on Twitter a picture of the pitch during that time before kickoff, and it was really waterlogged. And if you feel the under-23s in that situation, there's a big chance that some players might get injured.
So did they have like the squad there already, or were they stuck in traffic still?
I think the squad was there already.
Okay, so it was about the safety of the players because of the pitch.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an interesting one because it makes it really interesting for the group as well, because you've got Kaya and Stallion both in the group still, and because of the default, everyone's within 1 point of each other within that group. So it makes for interesting readings. Obviously, you can't read too much into the preseason. It's really teams are using it to experiment, and they really are doing that. So it's interesting. But tell us a bit more, Nate, about some of the other results that have gone on as well.
Well, of course, we do know you mentioned earlier about the hammering of by Loyola. Yeah, of
not just Loyola, global as well.
And global also. Of course, I think yes, it does seem like there's it's shaping up to be Loyola and global. Heading into the cup and also into the league afterwards. I would say that it's not entirely surprising these score lines. Seeing all these. Of course, they are against, if not bottom table teams, second division teams. A bit expected, therefore. Yes.
And you go into the money involved as well. In Wacko, for example, how much are you earning every month? Worth a try. But obviously, there's a lot of money going around in the game at the moment.
And as it is, and we're seeing, for example, we mentioned it though, in a separate episode discussing Loyola. They have actually the signings fill up all possible positions that we were saying that before they were actually threatening Loyola's further really advance in the league. Backs, so now you have that, and you've replaced Mark Hartman. Now not only is there a credible offense, but even defense, especially with
solid.
With Paulo Bugas also, but of course now he's credited to the under 20. But as it is, no.
Yeah.
Apart from that, and then of course even the surprise of Wacko and Lee Juyong. I mean, we're like, wow, diba? Harap at likod, sabi nga, diba? It's covered. So I would say that again at this point it's still a bit too early, as you've said, but Loyola and Global are the ones to watch. They're showing it as early as the preseason.
To give the scorelines, Loyola beat Dolphins 7-0.
7-0.
They beat the Army 9-2. Global beat the reserve team, effectively Laos 8-0, their second division team. And then edged the Archer 2-1 in what, by all accounts, was a really good game.
Yes.
Tell us about that. You were there, Eco. Tell us about the game itself as well.
The first half, it was all Global fighting for the goals, but impressively, Patrick Dato has been stopping Global on several occasions. Rufo had one chance from outside the box that even he was surprised that was saved.
Right.
But in the second half, they upped the tempo. Mark Hartman, playing in his first game for Global, scored the first goal. Then Angel Guerrero add a second one.
Okay.
And Archers tried to nick in the consolation to make it 2-1, and almost had it 2-2, but thankfully Global's defense made up for the errors.
Thankfully. Well, so someone's bias is coming through.
And I was expecting him to be biased for the Archers.
Wacko, tell us about the preseason competition. First of all, it's the first time it's been done. Do you think it's a good idea for the UFL, and why, if so, or why not, if not?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because it's like scheduled games. You can schedule your practice. You can make all the players play into the game. You can try new system inside the field. Different position for one player, so I think it's good for all the teams that join the competition, and also we can change the whole team so everybody can play, and it's like a practice, but training, but playing a game that it's much better. Yeah.
And how do you think this is sharpening up Loyola? I mean, you guys have come out and you've so far destroyed everyone. It was an aggregate of 16-2 in just 2 games. But looking into some of the more tough games that the tougher games that you guys will have later on, how is this preparing you for that?
For the Indonesia or the
for both, really, yeah. For Indonesia first of all, but then looking into you guys are going to make it through to the next round of the preseason, no doubt. Yeah, but against teams like Kaya, against Global, against the bigger teams of the competition.
Yeah, we're just starting now, and the practices are good. The games is just the beginning. We have a game tomorrow against Pachanga, and it's I think the level is higher, and they have more quality players, and it will be a harder game, I guess. And also we have Indonesia Cup, Menpora Cup, and it will be like preparing for good competition and harder games, and we are getting ready for the whole season, definitely.
Predictions? Who's going to win the preseason?
The preseason. Well, I think Global cannot play the final because they are in Singapore, and we cannot play against Nomads because we are in Indonesia. So
we'll win by default.
Most of the under 23, I think they play for Global also.
Okay.
So maybe Kaya.
Okay. Kaya will take that on default then. Yeah. So everyone else goes off by default, and it's Kaya for the win. Interesting. Iko?
I don't know.
But aren't they going to schedule the final before October? I thought it was going to end in September.
And the first week of October 5, I think.
Okay, I see. Wow. And any news if they'd move it then for the Singapore Cup? Because that's
no idea.
Okay, that's an interesting conflict.
Yeah,
I'd be interested to see what happens with that one. Nate, leaving aside the fixture congestion, I guess, who do you think's going to win?
Well, I would say if only on the basis of who has momentum again, and I think I will stick with either, as I've mentioned earlier, Loyola or Globe, but it's the only feasible answer at this point. Yeah. So but I think
I'd be finding interesting that you're going with Loyola and the player from Loyola is going with Kaya.
we'll see how it say it later on.
Because we are not here.
But if it weren't for that, but yes,
it's a fair point with the fixtures. It's an interesting point.
I do hope they get to fix that.
Yeah, you expect they will, especially with the UFL Cup. They can still sort that around. It's following on from the preseason. So we'll give you more news on that actually when we find out too. And good luck to Loyola in the preseason, even if Kaya are going to win it. Good luck. So we'll give you news at FTW Sports.